Testing the audio. Hello there. Let's get the music going. It's the end of the song. Okay, next song. Anyway, this is a little early for me, but I feel kind of like I want to get things moving. I want to wrap up this project. I have things going on this week that I need to take care of. So I might need to duck out earlier than usual, so I'll get an earlier start than usual. Alright, let's see. Yeah, the volume's not too bad on that, I think. Alright, let us switch over to my fantastic desktop. Transition. Anyway, let's see. We need to bring up my 3D modeler of choice. Just because I've been using it for years and I'm very familiar with it. This is LightWave 3D. Had some big announcements in the realm of LightWave 3D this past week, in that the ownership is... The next owners have been determined of the software, so it may go back into development and may continue on as a product. So that is quite exciting if you're a fanboy, which I am. Although I'm not totally that excited. I'm just, it's been a long road. I've actually developed several tutorials for the software that I sell at liberty3d.com, but it's been a while since I've made one of those. Kind of having a full-time job kind of took some of the energy out of those projects. So where I am at on this guy here is I've printed a actual 3D print of it, of all these parts, and I've decided that there needed to be some changes made, so I made some changes. I have a few more to go. Like, I made this piece longer and added these little ribs there so it fits more snugly. I made this stem longer and made the cross-section smaller so it fits less snugly. This, I'm not sure what I'm doing with. That collar goes on top of that to kind of sandwich this. So this is the post which the turret would rotate around if I keep that. But I found that I had made some mistakes, and that these pieces weren't able to go together as tightly as they could because they were intersecting, so I had to cut off bits in there, like the side here and this little notch there, just so that these things could fit in there, and also change this shape as well. That basically, I had things that were intersecting that shouldn't be intersecting. So I needed to take care of that. I also beefed up the rear axle connection and these other connection points so that they have a more positive connection. And I did have to work on this front part here, which, you can't really see because the pointer in this program is really small. But, yeah. So these parts should fit together better. I've also reworked the chassis, added some more bits where things will interlock, changed the shape of this to kind of match the shape of the fin. So, and then I have the fender parts, which I should fit together better now and provide more of a snapping together. I could add something up here, I think. Maybe. I think that would be good. In fact, I will do that. I'll do that now. I think the bumpers will need some work as well. So actually I wanted to do the fender, not the chassis, so let's... flip that around. Okay, let's zoom in and get to work. Huh. Now what was it that I was doing? I saw something that I felt like it needed extra. Was that just on the other side? Oh, that was just on the other side. Okay, so those aren't aligned anymore. Meaning the changes aren't... the sides aren't exact. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Because I copied... this one should be the copy. Maybe this is where I left off last night. I just got tired of working on it. So... because normally I work on the right side, I believe. Or the left side, for reasons. Alright. Well, first of all, I'm just gonna mirror that to the other side. And cut that out. Then paste it here. So that we have both sides have the same geometry as far as how the pieces fit together. So now I can work on the fender. Add a little bit of extra to make these pieces interface better. Yeah, that'll do. Actually, how wide is that? Okay, each one of these squares here that you can barely see is 1 millimeter wide, and this is about that. So it's about a millimeter, so it's not a very large piece. Let's make that a little thicker. Select all. I'm gonna knife it through there. I'm gonna give it a little bit more space because the resin printing isn't super exact down to the micron. I'm just saying things. I don't know how true that is, but it's possible that things aren't going to be perfect. So, all right. So now we have a little L shape to match in with that. Let's see if that's going to interfere with the nose at all. Not at all. See if that's going to interfere with the tread at all. One of the things I found is that I had stuff that was going to be intersecting in ways that it shouldn't be. So that's not intersecting, but it is kind of close. So I'm going to bevel this back edge. Chamfer that back edge, rather. That'll just add a little more detail too, so. Alright. Let's see if the chassis itself gets in the way. No, that's not in the way. Okay. So let's go back to my fender. I'm gonna copy this to the other side. And paste it back on the left layer. Alright, so I may just stop the modeling here for now to see how things are progressing with the parts I have. What I have to do yet is parts that I know are going to have issues at this point are what I'm calling the nose and the bumper. And it's like you can see, I have done some work to get these where they will line up. But yeah, they're overlapping there, which can't work. And I had that compensated for, but then I found that that was cutting into the tank treads then, so that wasn't good either. So yeah, maybe I just need to notch out this bottom plate thing. Or maybe I could do something completely different with that. I don't need to have that there. I mean, the whole nose thing is a little weird anyway. It's like it doesn't have to be multiple pieces. But okay, so next, let's see where the gearbox top goes. Okay, so it could go onto the top of that, and then there's the gearbox bottom. Okay, so it's, I just don't have a very positive connection, I think, between the nose and the front of this. Meaning, let's get rid of the bumper for now. See, it overlaps quite a bit, but then there's actually not that much underneath. Let me... It's actually not connecting very well. It's just only at the back edge there. So I feel like there needs to be more support there to guide it into place. But while I'm working on that, let's get some things printing. So let me hit save and make sure my treads right and left are matching. Yep, I have the new post there, the new hole there. Okay. I'm just gonna export. Let me try that again. Save, export, STL. Let's do it in meters or millimeters. We'll do it in millimeters. Okay. Objects. That's right. This time I'm not going to be as careful about how I'm setting this up on the build plate, because I'm not going to do all of the parts all at once this time. I still have a couple pieces I need to do in the upper part. So save, export. I set a keyboard shortcut that. So Shift Control S. If you can set custom keyboards, that can be helpful. So Shift Control S to save that. Not going to worry about the dome. Not going to worry about that. I did do some work on that. So I'm not going to do the bumpers just yet. And I will probably have to redo the fenders when I redo the bumpers, but let's see where we're at with what we have now. Fender right. Fender left. Chassis right. That's not the word. Chassis left. Here, welcome to the exciting Saving Things channel. Not going to do anything with that. I will do this. Although, again, this is a part that will probably need a little more work. Just to interface the nose piece and the bumpers. So I mean, technically, is this the gearbox or is this the motor? I don't know. And I just realized that I did not freeze the geometry on the fender, so I might need to export that again. But before I do that, oh, I guess I could do this one too. Top plate. And so I've actually modified most of the parts already. And I have not actually referred to the spreadsheet I made with notes about what I needed to change, so I don't know if that's going to be good or bad. I'm not going to do those or that. This here, I did want to do something new to, so let's bring that up. And yeah, that'll do. I just wanted to make this a much more positive connection too. And I think by just extending these down, that will help. That'll certainly help. But I can also do some more. This is one of those parts that has trouble printing because it's round. It doesn't all need to be round though, so maybe if I just do I don't think that's going to get in the way of anything because this sits on top of the part, so alright, I don't think I want to go all the way across like that. Beep. And this can go up into there. Let's add some chamfers to give it a little more interest. Or less interest? I don't know. This should help it be more oriented or more stable on the frame because it's a wider surface that it's, you know, I want it to be even to lay flat against the chassis, basically, is all I'm saying. Let's mirror that back as well. It's a bit too far, but that's okay. Oops, I didn't do that one either. Uh-oh. Let's do that like that, I guess. Now let's make this one a little longer. So here I am modeling again when I said I was just going to save things out, so it's hard to stay on task, stay on target. Okay, let me select that and mirror that. Okay, let's save. We'll see if those changes make a difference. And let's export that as an STL. What am I calling this thing? I don't remember what I called this. Turret base, I guess. Okay. I'm going to hit save and go back to the fender. I'm going to select the ones that have sub patches. Going to freeze that and do this. Is the fender left. I'm going to export this and fender left, save, yes, overwrite it, undo, because I like keeping the control mesh as long as I can. And again, we'll select the sub patches. We will freeze it, export, and that would be fender right. Fender right, fender right, fender right. There it is. And let's do the same thing for the trunk, because the trunk is also subdivided. This just smooths it out. Okay. My next step in my process is to open it up in the Microsoft 3D Builder, because sometimes LightWave has issues when saving. Hello, Chair Bear. Welcome in. I'm just reworking the 3D model that you saw me assembling the other day, because some of the parts did not fit together well. Okay. B006. So, import model, fix anything that's wrong with it, save it. And now I will repeat that process. So my mission today is to get as much of this mechanically working together as possible, and then I can move on to finishing the aesthetics of it later. I decided to print the parts that I have currently finished, and then while those are printing, I will work on some of the other parts. That's the one I already did. How is Chair Bear today? Yeah, I should have saved that other one. Just because working with these objects, sometimes it's not obvious to all of the programs what the scale is, what the units of measurement are. So by doing this step, it will make it easier to import into the next step. And sometimes it won't load in the next step because of some errors with the model, and this fixes it. Did I get any Easter eggs? I did not. I mean, technically I did. I did not receive any Easter eggs as a gift. Let's put it that way. I bought a whole bag of Easter eggs at the dollar store for... Well, it's the Dollar Tree, and they're no longer just $1. But I got a 24-pack of eggs that I can use to build things with. I can, or rather, add it to my stash of things I could build things with if I ever got around to building things. Ooh, that one took longer. Almost done with this bit. That should be millimeters, not centimeters. Do I ever make models from found objects like packaging, bottles, caps, etc.? Yes. Yes, I do. Let me see if I can find some pics. Actually, if I just go to my Instagram, I have pics there. So those are 3D printed. Here's one that I'd made last September, I think, out of mostly like a food container cardboard and a little tea light. While I was on, well, not vacation, but I was away. Here's a little mech I made out of, again, little bits of cardboard or something, and pieces of plastic. I was seeing how tiny I could make them. Thanks! Yeah, there's another one. So yeah, I do some, they call it scratch building. This was done with, in relation to something Andy Mecca was doing as kind of a build competition thing, I think. So that's the lid from a, caution, content is hot, lid from a coffee cup. I have a ladder in the back. Actually, yeah, there it is, without paint. This is a little broken now, I need to repair it. And I never quite got the paint job I wanted on it, but just because I feel like it needs some markings and graphics and more color, but hey. And the scale is wrong with the stairs and stuff, but thank you, I appreciate it. Have you tried building little chairs yet? Yeah, I could. I don't have any Airfix models, though. Although people are selling aftermarket parts for that. And apparently, you can buy water decal transfer printer paper, so I can make my own decals. Here are the legs for that. And I had another thing. Oh, this is like the first one I did. This is a vacation build. Yeah, these things can be very fragile, so they're not toys. I mean, I don't know if this still exists because I left it where I was vacationing, and my sister has since moved. So, thanks. Yeah, I learned everything I know from watching YouTube. So anyway, when Andy Mecha was over there, which I got to him through... Oh, here's my tiny chairs. But they're 3D printed. Bill making stuff, Andy Mecha, Terrain by Aaron. You might have to go back, to look in the older videos. Anyway, just because, there's a lot of foundational stuff, but then there's... Oh yeah, I had a friend who wanted to build an orchestra inside a Altoids tin, so he asked if I could make chairs. So I had made chairs. I keep removing this song from the playlist and it keeps coming back. Or maybe last time I just skipped it like I did just then. Okay. I think I will use... If you haven't found Craftsman Steady Crafting on YouTube, that's definitely one to check out. He's not quite as active as he used to be, but there's lots of good stuff, lots of variety of types of projects. When he started, he showed up in my feed like on one of his first videos he did, so I've been watching him ever since, and that's who recommended Andy Mecha, and that's how I found Andy's channel. Yeah, especially the resin type of 3D printing. Yeah, you can get a lot of tiny detail. Okay, did I close those windows? No, I didn't. So, here are the parts in the program that's called the slicer. This is what makes it into the individual layers that get printed. So let's... Gonna start arranging these things. Sometimes some things are better to print at an angle. So I'm going to start by rotating these things around. Probably 45 degrees is best, which is probably why it has a 45-degree thing. There we go. This was the part that I had the most trouble printing in the last batch of things, and that was mainly because of, well, I don't know. Partially because I was trying to get so many things on the build plate. But in this case, yeah, I think that'll work. I did have to angle it like this to get the pins to print, but I don't think I'll have to this time because they're so much bigger. There are a lot of things to keep in mind with this type of printing. Because it's built up layer by layer. And if you have reason you wouldn't necessarily want to print something like this flat like this is because it could build up suction if you printed it just like that between the plate and cause issues, but it's probably not going to be an issue with this. Let's see. And I want the position the support so they're not going to be seen, because they will leave a mark on, or they can leave a mark on the surface, so I don't want to put that on the top surface. How long does it take to print? The short answer is a few hours. But it all depends on, again, how many layers it has to print, and the type of print, or the printer itself. Because I have two. One has a faster, can print faster than the other because of the type of screen it uses, but hasn't been as much of a benefit as I thought it would be, or not as much of a difference as I thought it would be. But we'll see soon. It'll tell me how long it's going to take. Let's do it like... Okay. Now, the way it prints is like this. It actually dips it into the build plate into the resin and solidifies a layer, and then it just kind of repeats that process. So I'm just gonna automatically generate supports. I know I'm swinging this around real quickly. I'm gonna add a medium support here just so it's has something stronger, a stronger connection to the plate. So these are the parts that, you know, some of them were detaching, and that's why it was warping the circle. So I might need to up my settings a bit. let's, because I changed that setting, let's just do it again. Usually I just place them manually. Okay. So now I just need to repeat that process for all of these other ones. So it can get a bit tedious. Is this part is missing pieces, so I'm just not going to bother printing that. It's like, where are all the other things that go with that piece? I don't know. Oops, this is the wrong way around. Alright, and enjoy lurking, enjoy your dinner. Thanks for hanging out. Hey there, Bug Boy was a bad boy. Welcome in. I'm just prepping another print for the parts that I have already edited. Figured I would edit some parts and let them print while I'm working on the other ones. Or as Andy would say, Bug Boy, what a bad boy, how about you? Anything strange or startling? What's the crack? No, that's not his accent. Okay, I'm running out of patience for this process. I had heard of that on another YouTube video, where it was, yeah, actually explained what it was, or what it meant. It was when an Irish girl was visiting the U.S. But, yeah, it's the way he spells it. C-R-A-C-K is not the spelling for the way he uses it, if that makes any sense. It's the official spelling of crack, as in a banter, is is the C-A-I-C, I think. This is... Oh, wait, that one wasn't necessary. Okay, that one's already set. I'm adding the support structure for when it prints. That's what I'm working on now. Okay, so that's hopefully those done. Let me add a couple more small ones up here. Ooh, and there. Part's a little less critical since it's not seen as much. Thank you for confirming. I have been known to be wrong. I'll just do them all manually this time. I had these little dots telling me where that they would put them anyway, so... these parts here, these fenders, are going to need to change a bit more, even after this pass, just because I think I'm going to have to alter the way the, what I'm calling the bumpers will fit into these, so... These will need to be redone again. What? Okay, so... well, this side is missing something entirely, so... I'm not going to print that one. Oh, cool. What country are you in? Bug Boy was a bad boy. And were you thinking of buying from the Etsy shop or from the website? Because I can hook you up with a coupon. And of course it was the one that I had the most supports on. That's the one that I had to get rid of. Actually, I believe I have a coupon on my website for 15% off for new customers, which is welcome 10. No, sorry. Welcome 15. But in my website, I don't ship outside the US. For that, you'd need to go to the Etsy shop. Ah, cool. Yeah. So, yeah. Don't know if I've ever been to Indianapolis. I've been through Chicago. There and there too. Okay. a few more pieces to go. This is a boring part of the process. So I'm looking for the places that would be hanging in midair when they start to print, and adding a support to reach down to them. And also some things don't print well if they, or they can go out of shape if you don't have enough support for them. I'm not a big fan of cities, so not sure that Chicago would be a place for me to visit either. Although, if you that is one of the areas that we, when I worked at a coupon place, a coupon magazine place called Clipper Magazine, that was one of the areas we serviced. We had things in Chicagoland area. Even though I was working in Pennsylvania, we had people, different parts of the country, selling ads. Okay, that's good, I think. Oof. But I only worked there for a couple of years. I did learn a lot of Photoshop, though, and other graphic design stuff. Alright. Let's see if there's anything on this other side that needs support. I believe so. It's like when you zoom in so close, you can lose sight of how tiny these things are. 'Cause I originally had thought, hey, I can put a little light in there and have a little lens, and then I actually like printed out the one and like realized, oh, that's only like 2 millimeters big. There's no way I could fit something inside that. That'll be interesting. Okay. I think there was one last... Nope, two last things. I have to make sure that the supports from one model aren't intersecting with the geometry of the other models. Part of the challenge. Okay. Sometimes I like to start with the lowest points and with the light supports just to get them in place so that the shape is right and that we actually start where we need to start. Which I'm sure is a super helpful way of stating it when you don't know what I mean by start and where to start. Don't like that. There and move it. And then add the beefier supports to make sure that the entire thing doesn't flex. Okay, that should be enough to hold it in place. And these are just so that it maintains its shape better. Suppose Indianapolis would be the place to visit if you were going there for the big race. I think that's also where Red Bull does some air racing, so could be reasons to visit. Okay. Actually. Alright. That's all the pieces supported. I'm not going to try to fit everything on the build plate. I obviously had to remove a couple because all the parts didn't come over. That's okay. I'm going to save this first. Save project, all models. ViC B3, V6, Part 1. Here's where the computer takes all of the work and creates basically a movie clip that you can't watch. That makes a mask. So each step is a different layer that's going to be in the model. And you can see how it builds up. And what you want to make sure is that you see these this row of dots there. That's what becomes the first layer of the tank tread on that part. So you just want to make sure that you don't have anything just popping into existence without having something leading up to it. And this is going to take 2 hours, 32 minutes, 52 seconds at these settings. That is the slower of the two printers that I have, but it's also the one that's connected to the network. So I can just send a file over easily. Copy that file. Put it over here. The question is, what now? I need to get up and step away for a couple of minutes while I get this thing set up. Then we can get back to the other boring part of the program. I'm really upselling this. Hold on. We'll be right back. And I'm leaving the mic unmuted. I like to live dangerously. My headphones aren't on now, so I can't hear anything. From the computer, anyways. Actually, I have an idea, since you have expressed interest in purchasing a ViC B1 kit. I will get one packaged up. Well, it has to be cured first. Let me get my camera going. Wake up. $155. Oh, how about that? And we are back. You can see a bit of my messy desk. This is just my computer desk. You should see my workbench. That is in bad need of cleaning up, just like everything else around here. So, anywho, this is what the ViC B1 kit looks like coming off the printer. This has been printed for a little while now. I don't know exactly how long, but it's been around for a while. Meaning, you know, I printed it but didn't remove the supports and all of the stuff I usually do with these. I did go through at the end of last year and make a new version of the print file with different supports to take care of some issues that I had with removing supports. But I think it may have caused a couple other issues. Not on this part. This part I think works much better than the old version. They had some things that didn't need to be there. Like I used to have... I guess I still do have a support in there, but it's much smaller. No, that's not... Nope. I used to have a support right in the middle of that hole, and it was a pain to get out. Yeah, I'll keep that. The parts that aren't as nice to get off were the arms, I think. Might be a little attached a little too well now. The resin I use to prototype with is a little different than the resin I use to print with when I'm wanting a good piece or to sell the piece. This stuff is called ABS-like. I use Tech Fast. This resin here is a standard resin. It's a little bit cheaper and prints nice, but the parts are more brittle, so they break easier. So I don't use that for the models anymore, because they end up looking like this. This guy is missing a hand, because he fell over. So with this other resin, that doesn't happen. I have even more resilient resin too, but... yeah. See, these just don't like to come off as much anymore. So I'm trying to get in there at the base so I don't accidentally remove the peg. See, some of these parts might look similar or familiar when you're looking at the model that I'm working on, because it's meant to be kind of a continuation or same in the series. Okay. Almost done. It's just... hey! Welcome in, Zablocker. It's been a while. I decided to try to be a little more consistent in when I'm streaming, or at least a day. So Saturday mornings is actually kind of the first time slot I figured I would do. The other times I'm on lunch break, I figured it'd just be whenever I feel like it. Sorry to hear things are still going rough for you. That's good. You can keep contact with people. Catch up. See, on this thing I have an F for front. And I should have made this like a camera lens where you have two dots to line up, but basically the F just indicates that's the part that goes towards the front, so you have to put it in and rotate it into position. There's a little tab there where it stops, so that should be lined up. And we put the arms in. You will want to glue them, of course, but you can decide if you want them up or down. I did have one person add another bead to the back, a couple of beads to the back, so he could have the arms reach forward and hold a flower pot. That was pretty cool. This just slots in the top. And that needs to be, looks like this needs to be trimmed a little bit, so maybe I'll do that. And that just goes in the hole. I do have one other... No, I actually have a couple. I have a few other ViC B1s ready to go. And I have one including one that I printed with, it's called a tough resin. It's a little more flexible. And that is like a matte black. I just had a deal on the resin where it was like buy one get one free, but normally it's like twice the cost of the regular resin I use. So y'all just like move to different parts of the country or something? Or have... Well, I don't have to know. I don't have to pry. I did not realize that was so tight. This is one of the reasons I like to test fit things before the final curing, because things get a little tougher to work with after the final curing. Oh, cool. I hope you have a good time hanging out with them. I don't think I've ever had Blue Moon, but it's not... Don't really do much in the way of adult beverages. Alright, I'm going to put these parts in the curing station to give them their final cure. I almost forgot the very important antenna. I'll just keep it attached to the base so that it is harder to lose. Coffee, tea, well, and I drink way too much Mountain Dew. I did start drinking coffee a few years back. I was a latecomer. So I usually have a coffee a day. And soda. Before I drank coffee, I did drink some tea. But being an American, I preferred it to be... Well, Well, I spent a little bit of time in the South. We had what was called sweet tea. Well, basically it's iced tea, but with way too much sugar in it. So. And Mountain Dew is an interesting brand. They really branched out into a lot of different flavors in the last decade or so, or two. I have to go get something. I'll be right back. I happen to have the VR gnome just hanging around, so I'll just set him here to keep you company. You can look at his feet. Don't know if Chair Bear is still lurking or not. But if you are, here's the assembled, mostly assembled, robot that I was putting together on the stream the other day during my lunch break. I was going to make original hands. These are just the hands from the bub before, but I might just keep them and simplify things. Be one less part to design. Wouldn't actually be too much different looking. But problem I found was the pieces weren't fitting together well, so you see these huge gaps here. Huge gaps here. I realized that the top and the bottom plate weren't actually going together very well, and like had trouble putting these pieces together because they was having trouble lining them up. And yeah. And the part that holds these two pieces together came apart. You can see that's not centered, but you get the idea. As far as the overall thing, I think the next batch should do it. As far as things fitting. Ooh, I have a light here. So, I haven't decided yet if I want to keep it to be able to turn. It doesn't turn easily because resin doesn't like sliding against itself. But I do like the idea of it being able to be in different positions. But decided to change and make more sense to have the ring hold the dome captive rather than like on this design where I just have to, you just have to push the, snap the lid into place, because it's just going into a one part. Now I have this one as two parts. Like that. So I try. The thing I don't, I will probably do some more designing on the body part, just so it's has a little more detail to it. And I want it to, I might do something to kind of like a Volkswagen hood or something, just kind of bring it into the shape so it's less like a tube stuck out the top of a car, and that it actually looks like it's meant to go together. So thank you. But yeah, I was pretty pleased in some ways. I mean, it was more annoying to put together than I would want it to be. But I think I've made enough changes to the way things fit, that hopefully that won't be the issue in the next version. And it's still... Oh, that's interesting. Well, I have it printing that thing, but the build plate never lowered, so it's not actually doing the job. So what the heck is up with that? Well, I have a mess to clean up, apparently. How fast does it go when it's finished? Well, once you get up to 86 miles per hour, it doesn't matter, because you can just go anytime you want. I'm just kidding, of course. As far as how fast does assembly go? Yeah, it should take less than an hour. Without painting, I think. Why is my printer not printing? So you'll have to excuse me while my attention is elsewhere. Well, you know what? I'm just gonna wait on that. It's gonna take long enough where it's not gonna be accomplished on stream anyway, so. I'll probably end this a little bit earlier, because I started a little bit earlier. We'll see. Let me get out of the way. Move it. You too, old man. Exit stage right. Alright. I just set those things down and they just rolled right off. Alright, so I have 2 feet. Top plate. The base. 2 arms. And the body. And I am missing the antenna. Although I have a whole bunch printed. Because I use them on the UFO as well. There we go. Let's package this thing up. Don't have to do this, but they all fit so nicely. And I could cram this in there too, but I'm not going to. Well, hi. Kujin, welcome in. Enjoying the weather? I can't see outside to see if it's sunny or not. Felt like the audio was a little high there with this song. Alright. So I guess Andy has the weekend off, or is taking the weekend off to deal with the dog. I'm getting a ViC B3 ready to, or ViC B2 ready to go. Yeah, I keep seeing notifications that Kujin is on, but it's like, I think he's off by the time I actually get up. It's like I wake up and I see a notification on my phone that, hey, Kujin Alexius Poorman was on. It's like, is streaming, and then he's not by the time I see it. So this is the ViC B1 in the box. I have some tape back here somewhere. I'm gonna just do this off camera because it's easier. This goes in the bag. Yeah, no problem. But I'm glad you were able to make it in. Have to figure out who to raid out to today, because Andy's probably not going to be on. So here's the first prototype build. It needs some work. Done most of the work and to the parts I need to do it. And I was going to print them, but then my 3D printer decided to stop working properly. Oh, and Chair Bear, if you're still here, here are those little chairs. They aren't exactly a big seller of mine, but I have sold a couple sets, so that's cool. If, you know, one person wanted them for like a diorama for the Godzilla thing. I'll be right back. I have packaged the seal up here. Is it like a day job work call or a freelance work call or... I don't need to know. I'm just asking questions for interaction with my audience. I don't mean to pry into people's personal business. So, I mean, I'm going to check my phone because I had a few. Oh, okay. That's cool. Flowers by Irene is one of my favorite companies. Well. Well, thank you, Mr. Bug Boy, for you know why. So, no, you're good. Sometimes. My music stopped, I hear. Nope, there it goes. KKK. Question. Maybe I'll just pivot and put this on the other machine. Save. As save all models. Test, print, supported. And save project. We will do this on the other printer while my first one is... I probably will sing to you at some point. That does come up. Not saying you will enjoy it. Open scene file. No. Open. We'll just open. ViC B3 objects. Believe it's in here. Print test, print supported. Yes. The build plate on this printer is a little bit bigger than the other one. Still not huge. But this one I have to get up and walk all the way over there to the other thing. This is, like I said, the other one was 2.5 hours. This is 2 hours, so a little bit faster. Yep, I'm gonna have to go away again a bit to take a print off of the printer that's I'm needing to put this onto, and also get the USB thing for it. But sure thing. I'll be right back. I mean, I'll still have my headphones on. Let's see. Where are the gloves? There are the gloves. And, let's see. Poor gray old pilgrim should be on pretty soon. I think. Stir. Where can I plug this USB stick in? We will unplug this light. Doo-doo. That is the one I want, right? Yes. Show more options. No, I don't want to share. I want to send to the USB. Okay. Cool. I'll be back in a little bit. Just like a minute or two. Ooh. Silence. Welcome in. Is there silence? Did I unplug the wrong thing? No, I did not unplug the wrong thing. Okay. Can you hear me now? I'm looking around for my headphones. There they are. You don't hear a song? I think it's one that was quiet at the beginning. Maybe I turned it down too much. All right. Okay. Yeah, sorry for all of that off-camera stuff, but okay. Well, if you do take off, I'm glad you stopped by. Oh shoot. So, you don't hear that music playing? Oh. If not, then it's okay. Just remembered that I, at least at one point, had this set up. To do shoutouts. What a sad little small video screen. I should make that larger. And on top, Let's... You can tell I do this all the time. There it is. There's the alert box. Bigger. I didn't need to make the alert box bigger. Over there. Let's try that again. Is there audio coming through on that too? On the alert? Figured I would do a little bit of drawing here. If that's alright with you all. Oh, it's the wrong thing. Okay. Checking a text message from my brother. Okay. So here's draw Mecha and Dana. What does that mean? Was that just any mecha or a mecha version of me or something else entirely? Here's some ideas I was working through some shapes for the other thing, the B1. All right. So mecha, me as a mech. All right. That's my thinking sound. This is not a very sturdy surface. Go smaller. I'm a narcissist. I draw myself a lot. That's why I'm so good at it. Just kidding. So one of the things is like starts out one way, and then the perspective just kind of slides around until it's wrong. But that's okay. It's a mecha. Or a mecha pilot. How about that? With irrationally long ear thingies. And a Optimus Prime headpiece. Though technically, if it is me now, Needs much more facial hair. That looks a little odd. For what's a blogger? I need to scroll up and see some messages I missed. You too could draw a robotic Kujin. Be well cool. Rushing Ice Hill. Gotta put the safety restraints in. Not exactly what you asked for. I tend to draw really loose and quick on the stream. Maybe I just don't have the patience I used to. It's not a competition. But thank you, yeah. Though I have basically drawn that face a bunch of times. And apparently I always draw from the same angle. See, I'm probably looking at this at too much of, like, my face is over here and low, so it's kind of a little bit of a slanted thing. So let's see, might be a little more, might look a little more like that to me than that. Those ears are ridiculous. All right. So we'll go for another half hour or so. I don't know. No, thank you, sir. Question is, like, are we talking mecha like battle mechs or mecha like battle tech? Or Robotech? Or are we talking the Japanese style or Western style? Like the big beefy tank ones or the sleek ones? Humanoid. It's like backwards legs. I just switched it around. Alright. Wasn't really happy with how that was going. Huh. Japanese style. This won't be exact, obviously. I'm not as big of an anime fan as one might think. As I might have thought. There was a phase where I was watching more of it, but not recently. Though I did have some giant robot stuff has always been kind of fun. There's actually a sci-fi comic book convention going on this weekend, not too far from me. I briefly thought about going to it when I realized it was happening. Yeah, I'm just making this all up as I go. It doesn't matter if it's westernized. Kind of going for a dynamic pose. That's probably not quite right, but it'll work for this. Maybe just thinking of the old Voltron series. Pose from that. I did watch an anime from '87 this week. It was on YouTube, Robot Carnival. It was an anthology of shorts, mostly dealing with robots. But Some of it was cool looking, some of it was not to my taste. A lot of the stories were vague and confusing for me. Okay, this is the perfect song for this. What am I doing with this? It's supposed to be a pointing finger. I realized it kind of looked like something else. Hey, Kit Kat, welcome in. Oh, the sci-fi show, NorwestCon, in SeaTac. I just know about it because one of the artists that I started following a few years ago, local artist, posted that he was going to be at it. It's like, I didn't even know that thing existed. So for me, it's closer than Seattle, but I think you're north. How do anatomy work? Okay, I have to start solidifying some shapes now. Alright, catch you soon, man. Take care. Hope things go better for you. And you have a good time with your friend. I'll make this a gun instead of a sword. I don't know if anybody can see what I'm intending out of this mess. I think I'm losing it myself. Have a good day, sir. Kit Kat, if you're wondering, I'm supposed to be drawing a mech. Specifically, a mech of me somehow, so. I'm just kind of scribbling till I see something I like, I guess. So I've not drawn a ton of mechs. Though I used to watch a lot of big robot cartoons when I could. Maybe if I just draw loosely and you'll get the idea that it's... the detail will be implied. Of course, you need to have strong enough silhouette to pull that off. I'll add some kind of backpack on there. Are you planning on going to SummerCon in Puyallup in June? I should have a booth here. I was not aware of that thing happening in summer, so maybe? That would be cool. Be nice to meet up. It's actually a little bit closer to me, so... Yeah, I went to the Jet City Comic-Con before the pandemic. And I was at Emerald City Comic-Con one time as a panelist. Not a panelist, but I gave a talk for Adobe Character Animator. But that was mostly to people who were already working for Adobe. So not a whole lot of people showed up. Of course, you know, I forget who was headlining, who was having another breakout session at the same time, but it was, you know, I think it was the people from Firefly, so. It's like, yeah. But, yeah, I'm not, you know. Not sure what's going on with this. Maybe if I just scribble a bunch and pick out some lines. Yeah, it was fun. I even recorded it on my action camera so I could save it for posterity, but then realized that I had the audio turned off, so I don't. I just have the video of it. Kind of pointless. This is not looking very elegant in Japanese. Let's destroy it with ink. Yep. Just as I thought. It's the one in Puyallup, at the fairgrounds. Guess it doesn't matter. This is looking a little better to me. At least as long as I don't look at the entire thing. That was partly a joke. Bye. Let's see. I need to scroll up and see. But if you used a reference, it would add another level to the form of drawing. It's fairgrounds. Believe anime bots have a lot of armor that protrudes in the shape of a human, and a lot of body parts, not so much like a human. Yeah, true. Yeah, reference would definitely help. Give it the ridiculous wings. I think I might be best served to simplify this a bit. Some planes in there. I know you probably can't see through my hand. Legs are probably not long and skinny enough. But, yeah. I'm pretty sure that is very wrong. Alright, looking up, looking good. Loving the design and the action of the Mecha U. Of your Mecha U. Taking shape. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I think it's salvaged for now, till I overwork it. I mean, it's definitely, and practice in every aspect of it. So, yeah, I'll sign that one. That's what I was going for. I feel like that leg's a little too big for the... I don't know. It's definitely a more dynamic pose than I usually do. Because most of the design I just do like a face-on or a three-quarter or something with no particular pose in mind. But hey, it's giving me a good practice, because a lot of times I don't just sit down and draw. Yeah, of course. What I like to do is I like to do a drawing and stop where other people start as a sketch. Not just kidding, but I do notice it's like I don't tend to rework. I don't try to redo the same piece multiple times, which is probably, it would be a good thing to do. So I don't, it's like, you know, you have your concept sketch and then you do your painting from that. It's like, I just do the sketches. But I could definitely, I have the finger dexterity. I have some skill with a pencil. But as far as like actual putting the time and practice into it is not a strong suit of mine. Okay, that's 2 drawings. Any other drawing ideas anybody wants to do? I mean, this thing's an iterative process. It's like this is just one solid piece, really. It's not designed to be a model to take apart, but I wanted to get an idea for the size and the scale of it, so I printed that. And I printed this as parts that I could then assemble to test the assembly, and I found that I have some parts that don't even... they can't fit together the way they're supposed to because they overlap in weird ways. It's just, I somehow missed that as part of the design. And just trying to get ideas for how to make it satisfying to go together. So, that's kind of why I have some other test pieces printing now. My take of an R2-D2, how about that? Or is that a suggestion of something I could do? I mean, that's kind of what this is almost like. I have had somebody say that it would go well with their... Man, the lighting is so... it's this white background. Just throwing the exposure off. Yeah, I did have somebody say that it would go well with his steampunk R2-D2. Oh, here's a drawing suggestion. My take on an R2-D2. Okay. I did ask for a suggestion. Alright. Well, he's just a trash can with a dome. We'll start with a sketch. This is just going to be from memory. I guess I could look something up, but you said my take, so... So I know he has a dome on the top, and legs he walks on, and wheels he or rolls on. Don't remember the pattern of his details. You know, he has these front panels that open up. And as many gadgets as the story needs. So basically just a Star Wars droid. An astromech. Just trying to remember Star Wars-y shapes. And pinstriping. Okay. An original character of my own R2-D2. My very precise lines. That's a straight line. That's very curved for a straight line. Trying to get some perspective down. I'm not going to say this is going to be a accurate perspective. All right. She would be up here. So do you hear music playing now? Oh, now it's really quiet, so probably not. Okay, thanks. This is not the way to do perspective. Why am I drawing details at this stage? Maybe he's a little flared out at the bottom. This is the Hamsar of R2-D2s. I'm a droid. You don't want to know what comes out of that door. I don't remember if there's much of a collar on this droid or not. That all inside there can go away. My shoulder muscle is tightened up. It's a little squat for R2-D2. Maybe I think having him look right at the camera is a good way to add personality. Never quite sure how to feel about this song. My shoulders. Okay. Now I will get to the detailing over here. I think. I don't necessarily like how thin these legs look. People will be asking him if he skipped leg day at the gym. Put some happy little shoulder curves in there. Happy little accidents. I feel like that should be an I-beam of some sort. Just imagine if I used a ruler, how straight these lines could be. Or if I just did one long stroke instead of several little short ones. That's a little wonky. Da-da-da-da-da-da. I was close to singing. Too bad the blocker left before I started. All right. I'm assuming Drew is still lurking, but I don't know for sure. Ah, it's off the bottom of the page. Your camera. There should be a trim piece or something there. Yay. I'll be seeing you in a few days, apparently. Well, once we figure out the details. stretching. I'm stretching now. This could use some skewing. Let's give it some grounding with shadow. Broke the tip of the pencil. Let's do some shading. A little shady shade. A little shady shade, shade, shade. Gonna give the illusion of detail. This is where markers would be handy. Yup. Well, I think this is also a success. The brief was to be my take on R2D2 type droid. Not exactly R2D2. I think it's recognizable as that type of droid. I'm sure I could do a bit better with the Star Wars design language, but got some of the elements of it. Still need an antenna. Let's see, okay, still need an antenna. Need to stretch a bit. I think there are some random doodads still. Anyway. So I will also sign this one. I'll go back to the first one. See, do I want to do anything to this? Oh, it's after 12 now. Alright. I think I will call that one done too. I mean, it's not done. It doesn't have to be done. But it has a little bit more depth to it, I think. So, just as a recap, the drawings of the day. There's Mecha Pilot Me with ridiculous helmet ears. Don't know how that's practical at all. Mecha Me in a dynamic pose, although a bit amateurish. Although it turned out better than it looked like it was going to for a while. And of course, my take on an astromech, R2-D2 like. Also on today's stream, we did some 3D modeling, some prepping for 3D printing, and some 3D printing, although you don't see that on the stream. So, I think I'm going to get on with my day, because I have things I should do, I think. But thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. I will catch you all later. Let me see if I want to raid out to somebody. Is there anybody online I want to raid out to? That's an annoying voice. I do have a package I need to prep and send. So I need to do that before too long. Brain stopped working briefly there for a second. Infozar is on. Let's see, who else is on that I follow now? Watch. El Dirty Squirrel, Games with Death, Chrome Illusion, Chriselle Cox, Billiam Babble, and Infozar. I think we will take a trip to... Billiam Babble. Of course, one time I popped in on him, they were in a very deep discussion about mental health, so... We'll see. Have a great day yourself. Thanks for stopping in.
What if we get him to help us? It'd be a good idea. Hey, Setsuna, what's going on? Happy Saturday. How you doing?
Well, apparently
I think we need to get him out of his pajamas first.
Yeah.
Let's get out of these weird pajamas, aka the giant shirt. We'll get you fixed up with some equipment. Nice. I'm a real soldier now, boys.
That's not a name. That's not the command. Pro streamer here. And I'll tell you what. We'll just, we won't bother raiding out. Will we? I mean, it's just a couple of us, and I'm not sticking around, so. Yeah. Well, thanks for showing up again. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out and watching me draw some. It's a good practice for me to take on one picture at a time. Usually I just doodle a little bit here and there. Ooh, I just broke the tip off of this glue. Did not know that I could do that. Alrighty. Hopefully that won't be a problem later. Alright, again. See you in a bit. Thanks for watching.